Have you ever sat down at the end of the month, looked at your bank account, and genuinely had no idea where the money went? Like, you make a decent salary, you're not out buying yachts or blowing cash at the casino. You went to work, you paid your bills, you even skipped a few nights out. And somehow, you still ended up with almost nothing left over. And the scariest part isn't the number. The scariest part is that it doesn't feel like your fault. It feels like money just evaporates. And I want to tell you something right now. That feeling is not random, and it is absolutely not your fault in the way you think. Because most of the things quietly bleeding your wealth dry are so normal, so socially accepted, so totally invisible that nobody ever warns you about them. Until today. My name is Nico, and I spend way too much time thinking about money. Specifically, why smart, hardworking people who are doing everything right still end up financially stuck for years, sometimes decades, without ever understanding why. If that resonates with you at all, do me a quick favor and hit subscribe, because this channel is entirely built around these kinds of conversations. And smash that thumbs up button. It genuinely helps more people find videos like this one. Now, let me ask you something before we get into it. If I told you that 10 completely ordinary, everyday habits could be costing you over $1 million across your lifetime, would you want to know which ones they are? Because here's a way I want you to think about this before we dive in. Imagine a bathtub. You turn on the faucet, money flows in. That's your paycheck. Most people's whole financial life is spent focused on that faucet, trying to get a bigger one, a better job, a raise. But what nobody talks about is the drain. And the drain in most people's financial lives isn't one big hole. It's 10 tiny ones. Each one seems so small you'd never notice it alone. But together they empty that tub faster than the faucet can fill it. That's what we're talking about today. Not the big, obvious stuff. The 10 slow, silent drains. So let's start with number 1, and it's probably already on your phone right now. Subscriptions. Now I know you've heard this before, but here's where it gets really interesting, because this isn't just about Netflix. The average American household is now paying for over 30 subscription services per month. 30. Streaming, cloud storage, apps, fitness, meal kits, news, software, and research from C+R Research found that people underestimate their monthly subscription spending by about $230 on average. You think you're spending $80, you're spending over $300. And the reason these companies charge monthly instead of annually is pure psychology. Small numbers feel painless. $15 a month doesn't feel like $180 a year. It doesn't feel like $900 over 5 years. But if you invested that difference consistently, that's real money over time. And we'll get to exactly how much in a moment. Number 2 is what I call lifestyle creep, and it is the most socially celebrated wealth killer that exists. You get a raise, so you upgrade the apartment. You pay off a loan, so you buy a nicer car. Your income goes up 20%, your spending goes up 22%. Every single time. This isn't laziness or weakness, it's human. Our brains are wired to normalize whatever we experience consistently. The first month in the upgraded apartment feels amazing. By month 3, it just feels like home. And now you need more money just to feel the same level of comfortable. The hamster wheel doesn't speed up because you got faster. It speeds up because you let it.
Which brings me right into number 3, car payments. And here's the crazy part. Most people have been so thoroughly marketed to that they genuinely believe a monthly car payment is just a normal part of adult life. It is not. The average new car payment in the US right now is over $730 a month. That is $8,760 a year going entirely to a depreciating asset. And what makes this one so destructive is not just the payment itself. It's the insurance, the interest, the registration, the maintenance that all scale up with the vehicle's price. You are not just buying a car, you are buying a financial ecosystem that drains wealth from every direction simultaneously. Now, here is the core math I need you to sit with, because this is where it gets real. Let's say someone is spending a combined $400 a month across these first three categories beyond what's necessary. Some subscriptions they forgot about, a little lifestyle creep on eating out and delivery apps, and an inflated car payment. $400. That feels like nothing, right? That's barely a rounding error on most budgets. But if that same $400 was invested monthly from age 25 to 65 in a broad index fund averaging 8% annually, which is historically conservative, that $400 per month becomes $1.2 million. $1.2 million. That's not a typo. That's not a trick. That's just compound interest doing what it does when you give it time and consistency. And here's the part that will actually blow your mind. Of that 1.2 million, you only contributed 192,000 of your own money. The rest, over $1 million, is entirely the math working. The money made itself. But it cannot do that if it's leaking out of the bathtub through 10 tiny drains. Let's keep going, because number 4 is one of the sneakiest on this whole list. Affordable luxuries. Things that are cheap enough not to feel like a luxury, but happen frequently enough to function like one. The $12 cocktail on a Thursday. The $40 brunch you grab because it's just brunch. The daily boutique coffee that's just $5. And I want to be crystal clear here. I am not saying don't enjoy your life. I'm saying recognize these for what they are. They are the most emotionally satisfying wealth leaks of all because they feel like self-care and reward rather than spending. That psychological disguise is exactly what makes them dangerous. Number 5 is buying new when used works fine. Cars, yes, still, but also furniture, electronics, tools, sports equipment, kid stuff. There is an entire category of purchases where the used version works identically to the new one, costs 40 to 70% less, and your brain is the only thing standing between you and the savings. We've been conditioned to associate new with quality and used with desperation. That conditioning has a price tag, and it comes directly out of your future wealth. Number 6 is financial decisions made from a place of urgency. Buying the first apartment you can afford because rent is rising. Taking the first job offer because you're tired of waiting. Signing up for the store credit card at checkout because there's a discount today only. Urgency is not a financial strategy. Urgency is a sales tactic used against you, and it works beautifully because our survival mode brains are not wired to slow down when we feel pressure. This one costs people tens of thousands of dollars over a lifetime, and it almost never shows up in any "how I wasted my money" reel. Number 7 is ignoring the employer match on your retirement account. This is literally free money. And I mean not in the most precise, literal sense of the phrase. If your employer matches 50% of your contributions up to 6% of your salary, and you are not contributing at least 6%, you are handing back part of your compensation. This isn't even an investment decision at that point. This is leaving money on the table that your employer has already earmarked for you. Number 8 is not negotiating. Not negotiating your salary when you're hired, not negotiating when you get a competing offer, not negotiating your rent, your insurance premiums, your medical debt. Study after study shows that a majority of people never negotiate at all. They take whatever number they're given. But here's the thing, the companies on the other side of that table always have flexibility. Negotiating a $5,000 raise doesn't just mean $5,000 extra dollars this year. Factoring in future raises, retirement contributions, and compounding, that single conversation, 5 minutes of mild discomfort, can be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars over a career. Number 9 is the "I'll start investing when I have more money" trap. And I've seen so many people fall into this one that it genuinely breaks my heart because there is no amount of money that will feel like enough to start. You make $30,000, you'll start at 40. You make 40, you'll start at 50. The threshold keeps moving because the fear never actually goes away on its own. You have to walk through it. And the math punishes waiting brutally. Someone who invests $200 a month from age 25 ends up with more money at 65 than someone who invests $400 a month starting at 35. Starting earlier wins over contributing more, almost every single time.
And number 10, the one that ties all of this together, is outsourcing your financial education. Trusting that your employer, your bank, your insurance agent, or your government has your financial future handled. None of those entities are designed to make you wealthy. They're designed to serve their own interests, and sometimes those interests align with yours, and sometimes they don't. The people who actually build wealth are the people who take radical personal ownership over learning how money works. Not because they're smarter, because they decided this was worth understanding. And here's the thing I want to leave you with, because this is really the whole point of everything we've talked about today. None of these 10 things are catastrophic on their own. That's exactly why they're so dangerous. No single subscription bankrupts you. No single car payment ruins your retirement. But together, quietly, over a decade, they can be the entire difference between financial freedom and financial anxiety for the rest of your life. You now know where the drains are. You can see them. And the person who can see the drains is already a completely different person than the one who couldn't. That awareness is the beginning of everything.
You're now the kind of person who understands that wealth isn't about how much you make. It's about what you keep, what you protect, and what you let grow. And that changes everything. If this video gave you one thing worth thinking about, share it with someone who needs to see it. Drop in the comments which of these 10 hit closest to home. I genuinely read them. And I'll see you in the next one.